Hello guys, welcome in another video, and today we will discuss variable. Now what is variable? So variable is what? That variable is used to store the information of identity. So this is what? This is identity of memory location. So it stores the information as we already discussed. So let's say this is my memory, and what I want to store a is equal to 10, and let's say I want to store a is equal to 10. So somewhere in my memory a is equal to 10 will be stored. Somewhere in my memory, let's say I want to store a is equal to 10, a is equal to 10. So somewhere in my memory a is equal to 10. The 10 will be stored. The 10 will be stored, and the 10 will be stored for what? For a. So that a will store the value as a 10 in somewhere in my memory. Let's say this is my memory blocks, and I want to store a is equal to 10, and let's say I want to store a is equal to 10. Then somewhere in my memory the value of 10 will be stored, and whenever I will try to access this value a, that particular location, the particular address will be called, and whatever is placed at that address, that will be print. When I try to say a is equal to 10, somewhere in my memory a block will be created. In that block 10 as a value will be stored, and when I try to print of a, that particular memory address, at that particular memory address, whatever the value will be, that will be print. So let's say if I use a is equal to 10, it means that somewhere in my memory 10 will be placed, and when I use print of a, whatever is placed at that address, that will be print here. Okay, so for the variable, what is the syntax here? Simply variable name, and the next will be value. Here semicolon is also not required, as well as data type like int here is also not required. So syntax will be simply the variable name and equal to value. So in Python, somewhere you will also read that Python doesn't support data types. Now, what does it mean that Python doesn't support data type? Is it that there is no concept of data types? So no, concept of data types is there, but explicit use of data types is not there. It means explicitly here you need not to declare the data type. But yes, if you write a is equal to 10, automatically this a will be treated as an integer data type. So data type is there. Somewhere you will see that Python doesn't support data types. It means that integer, there's no concept of integer, there's no concept of float. No, that all is there. We already saw here in this program. In this program, we already saw here that once you write a is equal to 10 and you write type is nothing but a predefined functions which will tell you that what kind of data type it is. So here it is representing that it is a type of integer. Here it is representing that it is a type of float. Here it is representing that a is a type of string, str class type. So data type support is there, but explicitly you need not to write the data type. Explicitly you need not to write the data type. That explicitly unnecessary, this line of code is not required. So automatically PVM will identify that what kind of data type you want to provide here. If it is 10, automatically this a will be integer type. If it is float, automatically this will be float type. If this is a string, automatically this will be string type. So that all such things will be taken care by PVM internally. That's why we also known as PVM is what? PVM is high level programming language. All low level such things like data type declaration is not required. You need not to varied. It allocates the memory depends on the data provided by user. It allocates the memory depends on the data provided by user. So hence it is called as dynamic programming language. Now how many types of variables we have in Python? Now how many types of variables we have in Python? So as we all know that Python is what? Python support procedural programming concept, procedural oriented programming language, as well as Python is what? Object oriented programming language. So procedural oriented programming language means like we have C. So those who already aware about C, those may be known that C is having two types of variable. One is local and one is global. So in C, there is a two type of variable support is there. One is local and one is global. In case of object oriented programming language like Java, how many types of variable we have? We have one type of variable known as a local. Another type of variable we have is global. Then another type of variable we have is class level variable. Class level variable, which is also known as a static variable. Apart from this, Java and object oriented programming language is also having one type of variable which is known as a object level, or also known as a instance variable. So variable, as Python support procedural orientation support, it means like C we have local and global. So here also we have procedural oriented local variable, procedural oriented global variable. Here we have object oriented local variable, object oriented global variable, object oriented static variable, object oriented instance variable. So in C we have two types of variable. In Java we have four types of variable, but in Python we have six type of variable. In Python we have six type of variable.